All right, here we are, quarter 2, week 7, day 4. We are finding the quotient. Okay, so we're going to divide 30 into 1,498. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Well, how many times does 30 go into 1? It can't do that. Can 30 go into 14? Nope. Can 30 go into 149? Yeah, I think it can go into it, let's say 4 times. I'm going to put a bunch of zeros here just in case we need them. Okay, 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 3 is 12. All right, so 9 minus 0 is 9. 4 minus 2 is 2. Yeah, I guess it's just below it, so then we have to put an 8 here. So 298. Well, I think that's obviously going to be a pretty big number. 9 times 0 is 0. 9 times 3 is 27. 8 minus 0 is 8. 9 minus 7 is 2. All right, and then bring down the 0. How many times does 30 go into 280? I'd say that's 9 again. Okay, so it'd be 270, just like last time. And 0, 1, bring down a 0. How many times does 30 go into 100? Probably 3 times, right? That's about 90. 3 times 30 is 90. 100 minus 90 is 10. Bring down another 0. 30 goes into 100 3 times again. Okay, and that's going to be 90, which is 10. Bring down another 0. Okay, so that's just going to keep happening over and over and over again. So we'll just bring the decimal point up, and we know that the answer is 49.93 would be a good place to stop. Okay, 49.93, and actually we could put a line over that 3 because we know it just goes on and on and on and on. So that's our answer to the first one. We're finding the quotient again, but this time we have decimals, so we have to take the number that's outside. Okay, that's the divisor, and change both the divisor and the dividend, okay, by moving over the decimal 2 places. So I rewrote it, so it's 29 into 349.0000. I always put the zeros just in case we need them. All right, does 29 go into 3? Nope. Does 29 go into 34? Yeah, that goes in 1 time and gives us 29. So 34 minus 29 is 5, right? And then we bring down the 9. Okay, how many times does 29 go into 59? I would say probably twice. 2 times 9 is 18. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 more is 5. Okay, so 9 minus 8 is 1. Bring down a 0. Does 29 go into 10? Nope, so put down the 0. And we're just going to bring down another one. How many times does 29 go into a 100? Probably 3 times, because 4 times would be too many. So 3 times. 3 times 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 3 times 2 is 6. Plus 2 more is 8. So we have 100 minus 87, which equals 13. And then we bring down another 0. How many times does 29 go into 130? Let's say probably 4 times then, right? Because it'll actually work this time. So 9 times 4 is 36. 4 times 2 is 8. Plus 3 more is 11. And actually, again, we can keep going, but we're going to stop right there. And we know that the answer is 12.034, approximately, right there. Okay, so that's our answer. 12.034 would be the quotient. Andy has 9 math books and 6 reading books. If he wants to distribute them evenly among some bookshelves so that each bookshelf has the same combination of math and reading books with no books left over, what is the greatest number of bookshelves Andy can use? Okay, we just need to find the greatest common factor of 9 and 6. So here we are. What is the greatest common factor of 9 and 6? Well, the biggest number is 3, right? That's in both sides. So we can have, what is the greatest number of bookshelves Andy can use? The answer is 3, right? And then each shelf, if you think about it, 3 goes into 9 3 times. So it's going to be 3. And then 3 goes into 6 2 times. So 2. So each shelf is going to have 3 math books and 2 reading books. And you're going to have 3 shelves that have 3 math books and 2 reading books. So that's our answer, is 3. A toy was originally $35 and it's now $28. What percent was the toy marked down? Okay, well, to find out what the percent markdown was, or what the percent, that's actually what the percent you paid. If it was originally $35, that was the total amount. It's supposed to be a 3, and now it's 28. So here's the total. Here's the part. Okay, so we basically need to divide 35 into 28, right? So it looks like that'll give us how much we did pay. All right, so how many times does 35 go into 2? It doesn't. How many times does it go into 28? It doesn't. How many times does it go into 280? I would say probably 8 times. 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 4 more is 28. Ooh, this worked out really well. Now we have 0, bring down to 0. How many times does 35 go into 0? 0, which means $28 is 80% of the cost of the original price. And since $28 is 80% of the original cost, then what was the mark of the discount? So we know that we need to go to 100%. We paid 80% of it. So what percentage of the toy, what percent was the toy marked down? It was a 20% markdown. Okay, it was a 20% markdown. So that's it. It was originally 35, now it's 28, 20% markdown. Simplify the expression. All right, guys, we're looking at like terms, right? So here's terms. And we have to look which ones are like terms that maybe we can combine. Well, 24 has an X with it. The other thing that has an X is 4. So 24 and 4 is 28. So we have 28X plus, okay, so we have the X's. We're done with those. And then we have just 2 constants, right? They don't have any variables with them. So 32 plus 3 is 35. All right, we just simplified the expression. So utilizing this information, let's answer these. Okay, what is the coefficient of x? Remember, guys, the coefficient is the number that is next to the variable. So the coefficient is 28. Not 28x, just 28 is the coefficient. And what is the constant? Well, that's obviously the one that does not have a letter by it, so that would be 35. So there we go. The coefficient is 28 because that's next to the letter. The constant is 35. Are the 2 expressions equivalent when x equals 5? Well, let's just see if they're equivalent expressions first, because if they are, then yeah, the 5 would be equivalent. If they're not equivalent expressions, then nope, you can put the 5 in there and they won't have the same answer. Okay, so let's try to find out. 9 times 4 is 36. So this is actually 36x plus 9 times 2 is 18. Well, look at that. It's exactly the same as that. So 36x plus 18 is the exact same expression as 9, and then in parentheses 4x plus 2. So if you put a 5 in to the x, whether you put it here or whether you put it here, the answer is yes. Are the 2 expressions equivalent when x equals 5? Yep. They're going to give you the exact same answer. Okay, list 3 values that would make this inequality true. All right, so let's solve for n. Okay, even though this is not an equal sign, we can actually just kind of treat it as an equal sign as we solve for n. Well, here we go. We have 3 and n right next to each other. Well, that means you're doing multiplication. So what's the opposite of multiplication? Well, that is division. So we're going to divide both sides by 3. 3 goes into 3 one time, which we just have an n here. We're going to keep the sign as a less than or equal to sign, and then we do 18 divided by 3, which is 6. So, if we just read this out loud, it says n is less than or equal to 6. So it can be 6, so I'm going to make that one of the numbers. But then all the rest of the numbers have to be less than or equal to 6, which means can we put 7, 8, 9, and all those? No. They have to be numbers that are less than 6. So we can have 5, we can have 4, you can have 3, 2, 1, 0, or any negative number. Those would all be correct for these values. So, as long as the value is 6 or less, then that would be correct. You could put any 3 values that are 6 or less. It takes Walter n minutes to get to his friend's house. Okay, we don't know how many minutes, I guess. If he travels to his friend's house 8 days in a row, taking a total of 184 minutes, how many minutes did it take Walter each day? Okay. All right, so we know that the total, again, is 184. So we're going to put 184 and put an equal sign. Okay, and then we know that he travels to his friend's house 8 times. Okay, and each time it takes n minutes. So that's really all we have to do. We have 8, which is the number of days he traveled, times n minutes. So however many minutes, you take the number of minutes times 8, that's going to equal 184. So that's really all we have to do for this one. If we actually want to figure it out, again, 8 times n, the opposite operation of multiplication is division, so you would divide by 8. So 8 goes into 8 one time, so you only have n on this side now. And then you have 184 divided by 8, and that would equal 23. So, if you want to find the answer, you can, but really what they wanted to have is this. Okay, 8n equals 184. That's all we needed to really do in the first place. Jonathan worked at McDonald's 20 hours a week and earned $195. Use the equation 20h equals 195. Okay, so they actually did this for us. 195 was the total. Okay, 20 hours a week would be the 20. And the h is how much money each hour, I guess. So we're going to go ahead and solve this. Again, we are multiplying 20 times h. The opposite of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide by 20, of course, on both sides. 20 goes into 20 one time, right? So we just have one h, a single h. And then we have 195 divided by 20, and that equals 9.75. Okay, and we could have done it this way, divided 20 into 195, but I kind of did the shortcut already and did it. So it's going to go into it 9.75 times. Okay, so that would be our answer. So it says use Jonathan's equation of that right up here to find out Jonathan's hourly wage. Well, each hour, Jonathan makes $9.75. So that's how we solved it. We just got the variable by itself, and that's all we had to do. All right, that's all for that one.